Cool guys, welcome back. We gotta talk a lot about what's happening in San Francisco. In fact, we have a upcoming 200 store closure protest in Oakland, which we'll talk about in a different video, but that's happening. And we also have London Breed, who is the mayor of San Francisco, and people are not happy about what's going on. Even Elon Musk had said some things about the tourism industry in San Francisco and how some people need to be fired. And the heir to the Levi fortune, okay, 45 years old, and this person is super mad about San Francisco. I'm sure that San Francisco is his city, right? There's a lot of people in San Francisco who like the city. It is a very unique city and a very unique location, and the culture and the climate is absolutely fantastic. But of course, the way San Francisco led things recently really made the whole city go downhill. So you do have the heir to Levi fortune, you have Daniel here, filing paperwork to usurp London Breed as the mayor of San Francisco after he slammed the chaotic and violent open-air drug dealing. And that is a thing, right? Open-air drug markets in San Francisco is a massive problem. You literally have people dealing drugs next to like elementary schools and playgrounds. It's that bad in San Francisco. Now, in the previous years, before the pandemic, it was mostly centralized in the Tenderloin district, right? It wasn't really outside the Tenderloin district. And even though they had drug dealings, the Tenderloin over here, it didn't really have like insane open air drug dealings. It just had like some under the table type of drug dealings. But now it's just open air drug markets. People literally just sell drugs in front of the police and they can't do anything, right? And you also have, Lower Nob Hill being affected. The Civic Center is just a massive homelessness encampment. Even though this is supposed to be an area where all the big tech companies are located, like Twitter, Reddit, Lyft, Uber, you name it. And there's already two massive construction projects, two massive skyscrapers that are canceled around the Civic Center because of crazy high crime rates. And also lots and lots of buildings are going for closure. So you have people getting really mad about this whole situation. And the thing about San Francisco, I say this in every video, is they never really address the core issue of the problems. San Francisco is combating a lot of homelessness. They're also struggling with taxes because so many companies are moving out. They're running dry of taxes. And with these small businesses and big companies moving out, they started doing things like, oh, let's tear down the mall and make a stadium, or let's do the Vibrant program where we invite some pop-up stores. I mean, sure, these things may help, but they don't really address the core issue. The reason why people leave is because there's just drug dealings everywhere. People doing drugs on the streets, people getting high on the streets. There's just homeless people everywhere sleeping on the streets, and there's tents everywhere. You can't actually run a business, and it's a city that's unlivable, right? And there's even some of you guys in the comment sections who say that you live in a third world country and it's not as bad as San Francisco because San Francisco actually has poop and urine on the floor. And I can't believe San Francisco, I would never live in this place. I would much rather go to several other American cities. And that's exactly what people are doing, right? A lot of these tech companies and tech events are moving to Las Vegas. Even though Las Vegas is known for gambling, it's Sin City. But it's actually a place where a lot of new tech startups are happening. Miami, for example, used to be heavy hospitality and beaches. Now it's dubbed Wall Street of the South, with a lot of VC firms and hedge funds from San Francisco and even tech moving to Miami, for example. So you do have San Francisco already being ran to the ground. Like I said before, the city just never addresses its core issue, right? The cops don't have any power. The laws don't have any power. You just have daytime shoplifting and nobody cares. Walgreens hires security. They can't do anything. And this is why, Daniel here, or the guy behind the Levi fortune, is just so mad about this, right? I'm sure the person actually lives here, and he's seeing the city just deteriorated to this point. Not to mention, people who own real estate in San Francisco are pretty mad as well. If you look at San Francisco real estate prices, they're so low compared to before the pandemic. You got guys buying these condos back in 2018. They want to sell now expecting a quick profit, but no, there is no quick profit. In fact, there's zero profit. And many of these buildings being listed, don't be fooled by the listing price, all right? The transaction price is so much lower than this. I mean, you'll never find a condo like this for under $1 million before the pandemic, right? And you get 2 parking spots. That's crazy. Great view, great building. 2008 building, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,000 square feet for $950K. That's crazy. In fact, you could probably say to sell it for like $800K, and they might even say yes. This is how bad the situation is in San Francisco. Properties like this would have easily went for like $1.5 million, and you would get people actually going to the open house. And look at this San Francisco, right? Elon Musk calls for San Francisco supervisors to be fired over city's destruction and crime surge. And one of the craziest things about San Francisco is they're actually blaming the tourist for not checking their cars to make sure there's not luggage. Because imagine being the city, you blame the tourist for car thefts. That's insane, right? If I'm a tourist going to San Francisco, I don't want to worry about my car being broken all the time. I want to have fun. I shouldn't be guarding my luggage all the time. At San Francisco, this is why tourism is down at an all-time low. People say that the city is great and all. I agree, but with this much crime, with how little the city is caring and how much deterioration is happening, this is not a city to be in. This is why so many companies are moving out. And big corporations, they could afford to move out. Well, what about small mom and pop stores? Mom and pop stores who've been here for decades are now closing, right? San Francisco, many of these stores have survived numerous recessions and depressions, but this time is the final straw, because this time is when criminals just truly run free in the city, and this is why everyone is just leaving. You also have some of the biggest foreclosures. Some people are saying that San Francisco's real estate collapse is worse than 2008. Map is displaying downtown San Francisco buildings with default to loans. 13 massive hotels, office complexes are missing debt payments, and that is some scary stuff. We're also seeing that San Francisco police is announcing crackdowns on car burglary and tourist hotspots. Yeah, that's not happening. There's still insane amounts of burglaries and stuff like that. And look at this. Now, San Francisco even said that their crime rate is getting lower and the city is recovering. Absolutely not. Violent crime is just going out of control. People getting robbed at gunpoint can't even reach the police department. People who get their cars stolen or literally their yachts stolen. There's pirates in the Bay Area now. They call the police department, they can't do anything, right? The police department in San Francisco have little to no power when it comes to trying to catching criminals. And this is why people could be shoplifting like 50 stores and then they get caught and then they get left out. This is a crazy city, and I do not recommend this to anyone. And it also makes me kind of angry to see the city really deteriorate like this, because I've been here before the pandemic, had its problems, but it was pretty lit, right? It was a pretty fun city to be. Now the city is just so bad, right? It's so doo-doo. And this is supposed to be a city where it's supposed to get like a lot of international tourism, right? You got some of the coolest architecture. You got the original Chinatown. Like, this is a really dope place with beaches, scenery, the Golden Gate Bridge, parks, golf courses, like everything you can imagine in one tiny compact peninsula. I would love to visit San Francisco again, but I really hope they do change. It's a fantastic city, but let's just see what happens, right? I really hope the city officials and the city council really does the right thing and just get the city up and running again. That would be fantastic.